Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers and I'm bringing a box card to you today. Slightly different than my normal 3D projects. Obviously I've not bought a card as such to you guys yet, but I decided that I just love this Nailed It set and I hadn't actually used it yet, which is a bit of a crime because we're already in March and I've had it 2 months and not used it, but I'm certainly getting its money's worth out of it now. As you can see, it's a box that is a card. It has space on the back that you can write on, and it does actually fold flat so that you can post it as a normal card, and obviously you can also lie it flat so that you can write on it to put your sentiment or whatever you want on it. I've just gone with the Father's Day on here because that was what was in the pack, but obviously you can adapt it to anything that you want. It could be a happy birthday or a retirement or anything like that, but I'm going to show you how to make it. So we're going to start off with some cardstock, and I'm using real red this time. In my previous one the base was made from basic grey. The tools are made from they are made using Smoky Slate, and the blue on it is Pacific Point, and then obviously we've just got some silver and bronze bits and some dark bits for like a saw's handle of wood here, but I shall come back to those. But I'm doing a red one this time. So you need your cardstock, and it needs to measure 10.5 by 6 inches. You then need to grab your scoring board, as we always do, and a scoring tool, and then we just need to score at every 2.5 inches. So that's 2.5, 5, 7.5 and 10, and then we rotate and score again at 2.5. Simples. And again, as we do, we're going to fold and burnish all of our score lines. I do apologise if it's a bit grey. Unfortunately it's very miserable outside, which is making it quite dark indoors, and I haven't had a chance to grab my lamps yet, so unfortunately we might still be a bit dark, but hopefully it's enough for you to be able to see. Okay, so as you can see, I've scored my vertical score lines here, because obviously this is what will make our box. These parts are the flaps that are going to come outwards, so we're actually going to fold this one inwards because these are going to fold a different way. Okay, then we need to grab our paper snips, and we're going to cut away the top skinny piece, and you will notice that they are slightly different sizes. Let me just see if I can get the shading right so you can see the score line. So the score line's here, so you have a smaller part and a slightly longer, and the slightly longer is where your base is, so your top part is the flaps, if you like. You obviously need to cut down all of these, which I'm actually going to use my bigger scissors for just because I find it easier. And I'm actually going to do this one slightly different, just really to show you the versatility and the flexibility with these sorts of projects. So I'm going to grab my fast fuse and just simply run it down the tab. You can use tear and tape or liquid glue, you can use anything really. So I'm just going to line that up there, and if we were doing it the same as my previous one, we'd just leave it at that, and you've got your flaps there. I'm actually going to cut away this front one on this one. Again, like I said, it's just really to show you the versatility of them, if you like. And obviously if you wanted to, you could trim these down. They don't need to be so long, but I'm happy to leave mine this way, because what I plan to do here is make some drawers to make it look like, I suppose any of you ladies would know, a snap-on toolbox. I did see the idea on Pinterest. I can't remember who it was that made it, but they had drawers across the front with little handles, and I just thought they looked great. So that is going to be the plan, but I really just want to show you the basics of how we made the box up. So there's your box. What you then need is some further scrap card the same colour, and this is to make the shelving bits, if you like, inside. Just these little parts here where all the little bits sit. And you need to have, I've got 3 in mind, so I'm going to stick with 3 this time. And you need to have them 3.5 inches by 1. And as I said, I want 3 of those, so there's 1 and 2, and my last one, 3. And then using each one and sticking with your trimmer, just mark with your scoring blade at 1/2 inch on each end on all 3, and this is the pieces that adhere to the inside of the box. So that's those 3 marked up. So again, with your foam folder, we're simply just going to fold the sides in and give them a little burnish just to reinforce that crease. And again, I use fast fuse for this one, and you just simply run a strip down either side. There's that infamous lorry going past. And I start off by popping one eyeballing the centre. You could mark it if you wanted to, but I don't really think it's that necessary. Turn it on its side so that you can make sure it's relatively straight and that your tops are straight with the top, and then give it a little press. And then when you come to do the others, come on fuse, don't play up today. When we come to do the others, you'll see that this one will sit against the edges of the previous one, so you have an even gap. Oops, that one didn't like to sit there, did it, evenly? Let's give it a little wiggle. There we go. So that one's just sat on the edges of that one, and this last one will go at the front. So again, tuck it in, butt it up to that front one, make sure it's level, give it a squeeze, and likewise with this side. And there's your shelves, as it were. And then all you need to do is add your tools. Now, I've not pre-cut mine. I will show you a few of the ones that I've made, or how I've made them, but they are quite a fiddly, time-consuming effort, which I don't think you want to see me sitting here cutting and doing. So got some smoky slate here, and I can't actually see my basic black, is that it? Oh yes, oops, just knocked everything off. So basic black, smoky slate, and I'm using my D block, and we'll start with a spanner or wrench, whichever anybody wants to call it. So we're just going to give that a stamp on there, and then the saw, which again is done exactly the same way. And then the hammer. And obviously if you wanted to do more, obviously on my previous one here, I think I've got 3 or 4 spanners. You just obviously do as many as you want to cover your card however you want it to. And then the screwdriver, pop there. And before I go ahead and cut these out, what I am going to do is use some of that scrap red, and I've got some tip top taupe for the handle of the saw. And so I'm going to grab my saw again and just stamp it. Obviously I don't need all of it, so there's no need to stamp all of it. I'm just stamping the top of it there. And then on my red, which is what I'm going to use for my handles, so I want the handle for my hammer, and then I want a handle for my screwdriver. And then we obviously use a lovely Big Shot and the Build It framelets. Just move these out of the way. Let's move that. Just put these to one side, get our framelets out. And obviously I need the saw, the spanner, the hammer and the screwdriver at this stage. So we'll just put those off to there. Put those over there and grab my Big Shot. Okay, move it there and then you'll be able to see it when it comes through. So, to start off with, I'm just going to cut out the basics. There we go. So, screwdriver, magnetic plates playing up today. You will find that this will spin and play up sometimes because of the magnetic plate. And if you have faith in your magnetic plate and your own ability, you can do as I'm doing and do them all in one go, which obviously does save a little time. You will also notice that when you come to do your spanner, there is a right and a wrong way to cut it out, and you will notice as soon as you try and put it on which way's right and which way's not. So before anything moves, pop the top of my sandwich on. Let's get these cut out. Oops, it appears that my spanner moved, but there's my saw, there's my hammer and my screwdriver, and like I said, unfortunately it moved, so I shall redo that one. And then we bring back in our coloured pieces, and so we obviously want the screwdriver handle, the hammer's handle. Oh, have I put those too close together now and I can't do them at the same time? I've got wobbly fingers now as well. It's always the same when you're trying to do something steady. It'll all wobble. Let's do the hammer. Do the hammer and the saw head or saw handle. Sandwich on. Whoops. Run it through. I'll show you these parts in a moment. I just want to run the screwdriver through very quickly, just so as I can show you how I made the handles line up. The screwdriver doesn't want to play today, doesn't want to line up and wants to keep moving every time I try. There we go. Maybe my Big Shot is feeling miserable as well as the weather today. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Okay, so screwdriver, saw, hammer, paper snips and glue dots or snail. So as you can see, when I cut my handle out for my hammer, it's slightly gone to one side, but that isn't a problem. All I'm going to do is very carefully trim around the edge, just following the edge of the stamped image, just cutting it up to that black line. Try not to go into the black line because obviously you still need that edge. And then because now I've cut this down, if you were to place it on, you get a grey outline, which I just don't think looks very nice. So all I simply do is very carefully run my scissors from the neck of it into the handle. I just run it down and then I just cut it out. Obviously, you know, if you're more skilled or you find a better way of doing it so that you don't need to trim anything, then by all means, you know, you don't have to. It's just that when I do it, I'm not usually very clever at lining things up. So I've cut the handle out a bit closer. I've cut the red out, bit of snail, and then just simply pop it in place. And you have a handle to your hammer. And then I did exactly the same with the screwdriver. So just cutting up close, off at the head, and then again round the edge. And likewise on the grey one, just cutting it that little bit closer, just so that when you stick it on it doesn't stick out. And obviously this is why I've not done all of them, because as you can imagine it's a little time consuming and I'm sure you'd get very bored watching me rattling on as I do all of this. So there's the screwdriver, and then obviously the saw, exactly the same. The only thing you need to be mindful of when you do the saw is the handle part. Now I think more by look than judgment, I've got my handle cut out in the same place, so all I need to do is trim this side of the tip-top taupe, and let's give that side a bit as well, just so that it looks even. And then the same again on the grey one, the smoky slate. Just a quick trim into the handle, and again simply a bit of snail or glue dots, whichever, and pop it in place. Now I've got a little bit of snail that's come through there, so I'm just going to grab my adhesive remover to get rid of it. Perfect. And there's the handle. Now when I did this one, I don't know if you can see, but I actually had to cut around this one because I hadn't managed to cut them out the same. I did luckily on this one, so that was a bit of a bonus. But that's all I did, just simply made 2 saws, 2 screwdrivers, 1 hammer and 4 of the wrenches. And then you simply grab your glue dots, and wherever you want to place them, you just stick them on. So I'm just going to go with what I've done on the previous one and pop that one there. And because I'm not using the front of this one, I think I may just pop the saw across the back there. And again the same with the screwdriver, just added a glue dot and stuck him in place. And that's all you do, you just go along. Now obviously on this one I've got my front panel here, and these have got DSP on them, and these are the Urban Underground Speciality DSP that I've used on this one. And your DSP, you need 3 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 squares to go on the front, and this one is 2 1/4 by 3 because I've just left it that little bit longer just to tuck down the back and reinforce the back there. As I say, I'm not going to do that on this one. I may get a strip of real red to put across the back there to reinforce it, But as I said, I just wanted to give you an idea of how to make them up, and obviously you can decorate them however you like. The small nuts and bolts here are supplied in the Build It framelets, and that I simply used some silver foil sheets here, and I just cut them out again with my Big Shot and just stuck them on. And this one is the copper, and again this was used stamped from the Nailed It stamp set just here, and obviously die cut out with this one, and it's stamped in basic grey. So you can do anything you like really and create any boxes you like with these. Obviously, as I said, I'm not going to go through and make them all up because I'll just be here forever. But there will be photos and full instructions on my blog as well, and obviously there'll be a photo of the finished project as well. But like I said, this one in itself as well will also, or maybe not, will also fold flat. I don't quite know why they're not folding, because this one did. It's a bit strange. But yes, they do fold flat. And obviously you can then put them in the post and send them on. Beautiful little different type of gift, and perfect for a builder or mechanic, or well, just a handyman really. Like I said, full instructions are on my blog. All the products that I've used excuse me, are available in the spring, summer and annual catalogue, and the link to purchase the items is in the shop with me button below in the description, and there's also a link to it on my blog as well. So I hope you have fun making your box cards. Obviously you could use anything to make a box card. It doesn't have to be Nailed It, but I just think it's really cute. So anyway, thanks for joining me guys. Hope you have a great day. See you again soon. Bye.